Enough of the hype. Time to strap up the chin straps in Lincoln with Nebraska football taking on South Alabama in Week 1. Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, teaming up with SG1 Sports to bring you Big Ten previews for all the teams, all 14 in the Big Ten for Week 1, including the Huskers at home, noon Eastern time on ESPN on Saturday. Nebraska and South Alabama have met only once in their history. It was only 4 years ago, Nebraska winning easily 48-9. Everybody wants to know about the Huskers. Let's first talk about South Alabama. Joey Jones built the program from the ground up. They were really good in the Sun Belt for quite a few years, but down the past few years. And in Steve Campbell's first season last year, 3-9. The offense was pathetic. Number 124 in the nation in rushing. They lost their quarterback, lost most of their production at the running back and wide receiver positions as well. So they're kind of starting over, although they've got Trey Turner back, 800 yards rushing, 6 touchdowns. Kawan Baker was one of the most efficient targets in Group of 5 football, so when they threw it to him, he caught it. 33 catches, 4 touchdowns. Malik Stanley, a major player in 2017, suspended last season. He's back. The quarterback position, though, not named a starter as of this taping, but it appears as though Cephas Johnson is the guy, a dual threat quarterback who had limited time last year, 7 of 19 passing. All right, defensively for South Alabama, they're decent. You got Tyree Turner coming back. He's by far the best defensive player, the most talented, 10 tackles for loss and 4 sacks. Their leading linebacker, Nick Mobley, is back from 2018 after he led the team with 56 stops. The secondary has been torn apart. They had to sign 3 JUCOs to come in and move a wide receiver, Tyrone Leggett, to defense to play defensive back. All right, let's talk Huskers now. Of course, the most celebrated 4-8 team from 2018 for good reason. 4-2 down the stretch after the 0-6 start, including a narrow loss in Columbus, 36-31 to the Buckeyes, losing in the last play of the game to a really good Iowa team, blowing out Minnesota, and winning against Michigan State. Adrian Martinez is getting Heisman hype after throwing 17 touchdowns last year and setting a single-season record for total yardage at Nebraska per game at 259. Stanley Morgan's gone, their top wide receiver threat with 1,000 yards, but they bring back J.D. Spielman, 66 catches and 8 touchdowns. Also, people can't wait to see Wan'Dale Robinson, a highly sought-after high school recruit, explosive player, should be big in the passing game as well. As tight end Jack Stoll, expect him to catch a whole more than 21 passes as he did in 2018 with 3 touchdowns. The running back position is looking really good, especially if Maurice Washington can stay on the field. He's having legal problems. He's allowed to practice with the team right now, but his verdict is still forthcoming. He averaged 5.9 yards per carry last season. Divine Ezigbo has moved on after gaining 1,000 yards in 2018, but they bring in Georgia Tech player Dedrick Mills. Last time he saw substantial playing time was in the Tax Slayer Bowl against Kentucky. Ran for almost 200 yards and 3 touchdowns in a 12-touchdown season for Georgia Tech. So Dedrick Mills is opening some eyes in Lincoln as they say that he's running hard, and he's going to be a player to be reckoned with. Also, Ramir Johnson out of New Jersey should get some playing time and some carries out of the Husker backfield. The offensive line was marginal last season, but at least all 5 starters are back, so hopefully they've improved. All right, the defense was pretty bad last season. The havoc rate was almost non-existent. This team only had 10 sacks, couldn't get into the backfield. Now, the defensive line, you would point to them as being the issue, and they generally were, but they bring in Darian Daniels, a fine player at Oklahoma State. They also expect these guys to get much better as they are very senior-laden across the defensive front. With Darian Daniels and his brother Damon, they also have a couple of brothers in Khalil Davis and Carlos Davis. And possibly one of the best players along the defensive front is Ben Still, who had 5 sacks and 5 tackles for loss. Their leading tacklers back at linebacker, Muhammad Berry, 112 stops. And Jakeem Green, a JUCO transfer, is causing a stir in camp. He's supposed to be one of the best players and so he's looking good, as well as safety Deontay Williams-Dismuke. He's gaining some praise in camp based on our Nebraska sources. Junior JoJo Doman might have a breakout season. Look out for him. And Nebraska's set at cornerback, bringing back its 2 starters in DiCaprio Boodle and also Lamar Jackson. This defense gave up over 5 yards per carry last year. It's got to get better. The defensive teams in the Big Ten West are fortified, but Nebraska's got one thing that they don't, and that's Adrian Martinez. Should be an interesting year with the Huskers, as they've got a pretty light schedule, both out of conference and in conference. They only play the one major power from the Big Ten East in Ohio State, and that game's at home. And their toughest non-conference game is most likely Colorado on the road. But they start with South Alabama. I like Nebraska winning this game 48-16 before they head to Boulder in Week 2. Keep it locked in here at SC1 Sports Big Ten channel for more previews on the Big Ten. I'm Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football.